Welcome everybody. This is a breaking news live stream I'm doing today. We have some huge developments that's happening in the world right now. Some very sad news. Israel is being invaded by Gaza as we speak. I'll go ahead and bring up the map. We can see here fighting is happening all throughout the border between Gaza and Israel. As we can see here, they're being attacked from all angles here, and we're going to go over what exactly is happening, because I think Gaza sees an opportunity when all of Israel's allies, or most of Israel's allies, are tied up with what's going on with the war in Ukraine. Okay, Gaza may see this as a big opportunity to attack when a lot of military resources have been just go ahead and type one if we're live. Just want to make sure that we're all live, everything's good. When everyone's typed what's going on with Ukraine, when everyone's been sending all resources to Ukraine, Gaza may see this as an opportunity to strike. So let's go over some news, some developments that's been happening right now, and I'll go ahead and react to that and break it down. So we can see the attacks happening here. I think there was about 5,000 missile strikes. Obviously too many for Israel to defend all of them. Absolutely shocking scenes. See some of the aftermath here in Israel. Yes, it is happening. Look, Gaza has started an invasion against Israel. It is not clickbait. See some of the footage here. Come on. We'll watch some of the scenes here, and then we'll go to the speech from the Israeli PM. Okay, we'll go to this. So you can see here they've entered the border. Now, obviously, Israel is counter-attacking. And you know what's interesting? Israeli PM just did a speech at the United Nations talking about how there's going to be so much peace in the Middle East, or hopefully more peace, and then this just happened.
חמאס עשה טעות חמורה הבוקר, הוא פתח במלחמה כנגד מדינת ישראל.
So obviously the Palestinians group Hamas is taking responsibility of the attack. So said launch 5,000 rockets. So again, this is the live map of all the conflicts that are breaking out. And you know what's interesting? They actually used hang gliders from Gaza to get into Israel. They used speedboats to attack by sea. And we can see here conflicts are breaking out pretty much everywhere along the Gaza border. Let's go ahead and have a look at this here. You'll see them come on the hang gliders. Go ahead and move myself here so you can read this. Look at that. It's pretty crazy that they crossed over just on hang gliders, motorized hang gliders. We'll go over to the video of Israeli PM officially.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה. לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחני נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון. הנחיתי קודם כל לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה. הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו. במקביל הוריתי לבצע גיוס מילואים נרחב ולהשיב מלחמה שערה בעוצמה ובהיקף שהאויב לא הכיר. האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו. אני קורא בינתיים לכל אזרחי ישראל להישמע בקפדנות להנחיות הצבא, להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו במלחמה ואנחנו ננצח בה.
So again, everyone, why I'm covering this is because this is showing that the tensions around the world are escalating right at the time that everyone's so focused on what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. I said we're probably going to see some other conflicts break out in the world, some other countries maybe see an opportunity to attack. And this is why, I've been talking about that the US shouldn't drain their SPR reserves, because what happened if a conflict breaks out with the US? We're seeing what's happening out of Israel, Russia, Ukraine. We're seeing what's happening with Serbia. In Europe, conflicts breaking out there between China, Taiwan. And normally what happens during wartime, it is very inflationary because governments have to print money to fund these wars. And this could make inflation and also oil continue to skyrocket to unfortunately fuel these conflicts. So let's go over to some more footage here. So this is crazy. They used, go ahead and put myself up here. They use motorized hang gliders to enter Israel. So you got Ukraine asking for F-16 fighter jets, and these people are using motorized hang gliders. It's absolutely crazy. So again, Israel has now started countering a Hamas operation with iron swords, they say. Yep, so we can see that with the map here. There is fighting happening pretty much across the whole Gaza Strip. So we can see now. Let's see what some breaking news has come out on these updates. So it says 8. Let's go ahead and refresh this. What is that? This is 10 minutes ago. I'll go ahead and move so you can see it. These are the live updates. A new Israeli airstrike behind Al Nada Towers in northern Gaza Strip. Hamas militants were able to seize more than 500 weapons from Israeli security forces, bringing them to Gaza. Warplanes destroyed the 5-story house. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Batniji, near Old Quads Open University. So obviously no classes tomorrow. The Israeli PM here, he says, at the beginning of the cabinet meeting, our goals are to cleanse the air of the enemy forces, exact a price from it, and fortify the area's calls on Israel citizens to unite. So several airstrikes are shaking Gaza. At the moment, Israeli warplanes are renewing their massive attacks against multiple areas in the city, which we can see the air attacks. Let's go ahead and adjust this here. We can see all the air and unfortunate bombing attacks happening in Gaza now. So let's go ahead and see what else is the latest updates. And go ahead and adjust this here.
And earlier, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a statement as part of a televised address in response to the attacks. We have more of that for you now.
Citizens of Israel, we are at war, not in an operation, but at war. This morning, Hamas launched a murderous surprise attack against the state of Israel and its citizens. We have been in this since the early morning hours. I convened the heads of the security establishment and ordered, first of all, to clear out the communities that have been infiltrated by terrorists. This currently is being carried out. At the same time, I have ordered an extensive mobilization of the reserves and that we return fire of a magnitude that the enemy has not known. The enemy will pay an unprecedented price. In the meantime, I call on the citizens of Israel to strictly adhere to the directives of the IDF and Homefront Command. We are at war and we will win it.
So again, everyone, it's going to be very interesting to see how the West reacts to this, because they put so much resources into Ukraine. It's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds, because normally Israel has had the full backing of the United States.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu there earlier in a televised speech. Let's bring
Lebanon, Hezbollah. It's really too early to predict just where this might go and what this might mean for Israel, for relations with Palestinians and all of that stuff. Here in Jerusalem this morning, the sirens have been sounding on and off. We have had a lull recently. We've been seeing in the sky the rockets coming all the way here from Gaza. Most of them have been at all not coming from Gaza. This is an unprecedented...
So you can see they captured some military equipment and overtook the Israeli military at the border.
Attack, and as I say, caught Israel by surprise.
Right. Rebecca, also because we can see when we see you, we can see the life right behind you, still ongoing, obviously, on a beautiful sunny day. But when the Prime Minister
targeted different buildings in Gaza.
Go ahead and see what's going on.
In response to Hamas's attacks this morning.
Yes, there were several Israeli strikes targeted different buildings in Gaza, some of them like private buildings, some, according to the Ministry of Health, one hospital was targeted, public places as well. There is no official number on the casualties. There is a lot of numbers circulating on social media, but still not official. The official number so far is one Palestinian killed and some injured in the airstrike that targeted the public hospital in the northern Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, we still hear some rockets are fired from Gaza in the last half an hour, and ambulances, sirens are heard in I don't know if you can hear it in the background as well. As well as we hear some of the Israeli airstrikes, bombardment across Gaza Strip.
Now, would you say that
That's right, it was the 50th anniversary of the 1973 Arab and Israeli war yesterday, I think. And now this attack.
the citizens of Gaza were prepared for what was about to happen? Were they taken by surprise? How are they reacting to what's happening now?
Well, this is a surprise thing. As long as it's for the Israeli side, it's for Gaza side. Nobody predicted this. There was no talk about it or any sign of any escalation on the ground. The morning was normal. People were prepared to go, especially students, to the schools. It was a school day. Well, later was cancelled. But it was a surprise, especially that it came like a huge number of rockets were fired and people got up in the early hours of the morning on the sound of rockets fired from Gaza and the Hamas militants attacking and infiltrating in the Israeli communities behind the borders. People are divided. Majority ordinary people are rushed to the bakeries and grocery shops to bag supplies and to get as much as possible supplies, because of course people would expect this would be very long. It's not the first time Gaza experienced war.
This is why you guys also always need to be prepared with emergency food, fuel, resources in case, this is happening around the world. It's never happened or hasn't happened for a long time in the West. But the way the world is happening, you need to be prepared for the unthinkable, everyone.
Wars before over the 15 years, plus unlimited number of escalations and confrontations between Gaza factions and Israeli army. Still, it's unclear. People are not don't understand what's going to happen, what's going on. Still, people in shock.
Right. Well, yeah, everybody is still trying to assess the situation and find an answer to that particular question. Hassim Balusha, a journalist there, reporting from Gaza for us. Hassim, thank you.
So people saying it doesn't make sense while they start a war, they obviously can't win. And yes, they can't win on their own, but they're probably hoping that maybe Iran will jump in and help. Maybe hoping that Egypt or one of the other Islamic countries jump in to help them, because obviously they can't win on its own, but maybe that Iran or something sees a bit of weakness now. Who knows if they will get in as well, even after all the peace talks that they've been trying to do at the moment. So let's go ahead and go to some more footage here.
But there could be no surprise that there would be escalations, simply based on what has happened over the last, decade of wars with Gaza, but more. I mean, Gaza has been under a siege for essentially 16 years, and there have...
So this is the border between Gaza and Israel that they've overrun.
Been various rounds of violence ever since, but particularly since 2009, we've had up 5 or 6 such rounds of escalation, depending on how you count, some of them very recently. There was no question there would be another one, but this particular form, the timing, and the type of attack has really caught everybody by surprise, particularly the fact that it is a matter of breaking through the wall, a ground incursion, what we're seeing, videos of people parachuting in.
This is some crazy footage here, everyone. So they've infiltrated the Israeli border.
Alongside rocket fire, that kind of coordinated attack was not anticipated as far as we know at this point.
Now, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel was at war and that, quote, the enemy will pay an unprecedented price. So
that's not good, everyone. They'll pay an unprecedented price. I just hope this doesn't go to an all-out conflict with other countries, or, if Iran jumps in, then the US will be most likely jumping in as well.
Do help us to understand the extent of these attacks on Israel and what he means by that.
Well, the extent of the attacks is not yet known. It's still going on, and we can only anticipate. I think there's a very high likelihood of further escalation beyond Hamas. So whatever Hamas has planned for this particular attack we're already seeing a chain reaction of escalating violence among individuals, clashes, in Jerusalem and around settlements. But the real question is whether other factions will get involved. There is a high likelihood, we've already seen statements from Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah weighing in on this, and that has been the Israeli nightmare of the security establishment for most of this year, that we would see a multi-front war, or at least that there would be escalations on those different fronts, whether or not they were coordinated. If that happens, then certainly the attack will be unprecedented, and the response too. What kind of response we are likely to see? We know from precedent that the first thing that will surely happen is, massive aerial bombardment of Gaza. I have no question that that will happen. It will cause vast devastation.
That's right. That will happen, and it is happening now. As we can see, lots of airstrikes happening. This is live updates of the map. Lots of airstrikes happening in Gaza as we speak.
In Gaza, which is already devastated by all the previous rounds. I can only assume there will be targeted assassinations of top leadership of Hamas. And beyond that, we could see ground incursion into Gaza, as we've seen in some of the previous rounds of fighting. It's all unknown. Beyond that, there may be forms of escalation that we simply can't anticipate at this point.
Right, Dalia, Shane.
That's actually right. We don't know how this is going to escalate. But again, the reason why I'm covering this, because, talk politics, talk geopolitics, because it all has an effect on the markets. It creates uncertainty. We know war's very inflationary. The US is definitely going to have to, I hope they do, refill their SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserves, because the world is getting so uneasy right now. The tension around the world is getting worse. And if they have to refill those to get them back to where they were before they started draining them, well, oil prices are going to absolutely skyrocket. So again, I'll go to the footage here of the Israeli PM officially declaring that they're at war, and some final comments. I think this is all the latest footage you guys are getting right now.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחני נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון, הנחיתי קודם כל לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה. הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו. במקביל הוריתי לבצע גיוס מילואים נרחב ולהשיב מלחמה שערה בעוצמה ובהיקף שהאויב לא הכיר. האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו. אני קורא בינתיים לכל אזרחי ישראל להישמע בקפדנות להנחיות הצבא, להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו במלחמה ואנחנו ננצח בה.
Okay, so let's go ahead and read some of the comments just to see what everyone is thinking on this situation. Never-ending escalation, that's exactly right. This isn't the first time, won't be the last. Pray for peace. Yes, hopefully there is peace eventually. Yes, right. So really it's a shame with Serbia and Kosovo, I think that's how you pronounce it. Tensions escalating. Ukraine and Russia at war. American-China tensions rising. Now Israel and Palestine at war. He says he fears World War III is upon us. Pray that peace will come quick. Hopefully it does, but it's definitely not looking good. This person said, I wonder if tensions would rise if NBC Hamas launched 5,000 missiles at NBC. It's a bit of a funny comment. See what the people, no comments here. People just saying RIP to Palestine. I guess there's going to be a huge counterattack, which is happening now. It's obviously not going to be good for Gaza, but I have no idea why they've done this unless they have someone that's going to be backing them. So again, let's go ahead and go into some of the live updates here. I'll go ahead and refresh this, see if there's any new breaking news. So there's a confrontation at the entrance of the city of Al Berin. Where is this? Go ahead, see if we can find it on the map here. A series of raids in Al Torman area, northwest of Gaza City. Wow, so it's quite unfortunate. Medical sources for Al Jazeera, more than 160 Palestinians killed, and about 1,000 have been hospitalized in Gaza. So this right now with the counterattack is not looking good for Gaza and Palestine. So I don't know what they were thinking unless someone told them that if they do this, then they'll come in and help them out. But as of now, it doesn't look like anyone's coming to help them. So Palestinian president chaired an emergency meeting, reportedly gave instructions to provide protection for the Palestinian people, stressing the right of Palestinian people to defend themselves against terrorism and settlers and occupational forces. So there's definitely huge conflict happening on both sides. So pictures of Israeli raids that targeted residential buildings in Gaza City a short while ago. So everyone, this is what's happening right now. All-out conflict happening in Israel, with them being under attack by Gaza. But now there's obviously a huge offensive attack being done on Gaza. So what do you guys think about this? Again, creates so much uncertainty for the markets. We don't know how the West is going to react to this conflict. I'll definitely keep you updated. But thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the next video.